You see, the reason most people quit isn't because they aren't capable. It's because somewhere along the way they forgot why they started. They got distracted by the pain, the setbacks, the delays, the people who walked away, the doors that didn't open. But when your purpose is clear, when your why is bigger than your feelings, your fear, or your frustration, pain doesn't stop you, it shapes you. Purpose gives pain a place to belong. It turns every struggle into a step, every scar into a story, every obstacle into an opportunity. I remember waking up some days when everything in me wanted to quit. The body was tired, the mind was overwhelmed, the outcome didn't look like what I prayed for, but purpose whispered, keep going. Purpose said, this pain is not here to punish you, it's here to prepare you. And when you operate from purpose instead of emotion, you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start saying, what is this trying to teach me? That's when everything changes. You stop seeing pain as the end and start seeing it as investment. Most people think purpose is some motivational speech or a moment of inspiration, but purpose is quiet, it's personal, it's that thing inside of you that no applause can give and no rejection can take away. When I stepped on that field every single day, it wasn't about fame, it wasn't about people knowing my name. It was about making my grandmother proud. It was about honoring the sacrifices of people who believed in me when I had nothing. That was my why, and when it got hard, and it will get hard, that why is what kept me from folding. Pain is unavoidable, every dream costs something. But if your purpose is strong enough, pain becomes powerless. You don't grow when everything is easy. You grow when life asks you, how bad do you really want it? Purpose answers that question. Purpose is what allows you to play with a broken heart and still give everything you've got. Purpose is what allows you to walk back into the arena, even when you know you might get hit again, because now it's not just about you. It's about the people connected to your obedience, the people watching your fight, the people who will find strength in your survival. So when life hits you, and it will, don't run from it, stand on your why. Let purpose be your foundation when the ground beneath you is shaking. Anybody can stay committed when it's comfortable. Anybody can be motivated when they're winning. But it's in the moments when nobody is clapping, when nobody is watching, when the results aren't showing, that's where purpose shows up. That's where greatness is born. The question isn't, will you face pain? The question is, will your purpose be stronger than your pain? Because the truth is, if you forget why you started, pain will convince you to stop. But if you lock in on your why, if you remind yourself every single day who you're doing it for and what you're doing it for, nothing can stop you, not fear, not failure, not even fate. Never forget, purpose is greater than pain. Everybody wants the victory, but very few want the process it takes to get there. We live in a world that celebrates the highlight reel but forgets about the hours nobody sees. The early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices, the sweat, the doubt that creeps in when nobody's cheering. But the process, that's where greatness is built. The product is just a moment. The process is what molds your character, your discipline, your heart. You can't skip the work and expect the reward. You can't ask for the mountaintop without being willing to climb. When I was growing up, I didn't dream about trophies or stadiums full of fans. I dreamed about breaking a cycle. I dreamed about changing my family's life. And that dream wasn't going to happen just because I wanted it. It was going to happen because I fell in love with everything nobody clapped for. The drills, the conditioning, the repetition, the days when my body wanted to quit, but my purpose wouldn't let me. That's what it means to respect the process more than the product. Because the truth is, when you love the process, you can't be defeated by outcomes. You don't get too high on the wins or too low on the losses. You just keep showing up. See, most people quit not because they don't have talent, but because they don't have patience. We plant the seed and stare at the ground, waiting for it to grow overnight, but the process doesn't work like that. Growth is quiet. Progress is invisible at first. You don't see change happening, but something is moving beneath the surface. Every decision, every disciplined moment, every time you choose hard work over comfort, you're building something inside of you that can handle the blessing when it comes. There were days I showed up to practice when nothing in my life was certain. I didn't know if it was all going to work out, but I knew this. If I gave everything I had to the process, I could live with whatever the outcome was. That's freedom. When you're process-driven, you stop living controlled by results. You stop negotiating with your effort. You stop asking, is it worth it? And start telling yourself it's necessary, because commitment to the process isn't about guarantees, it's about growth. People ask, how did you keep going when things fell apart? And the answer is simple: I never played for the applause, I played for purpose, I showed up for the process, and when everything changed, my commitment didn't. Because when you're only in it for the product, for the reward, the title, the recognition, you'll fold when the reward doesn't come quick enough. But when you grind for the process, you realize something powerful. The process is the reward. The journey is the gift, the work you put in when nobody is watching. That's what builds a life that matters. The process teaches you to be grateful even when it hurts. It shows you who you are when comfort is gone and only character remains. It breaks you, but only to rebuild you stronger. And one day, long after the world has forgotten the scores and the stats, the work you did in the dark will shine through everything you do in the light. So don't rush it. Don't despise small beginnings. Don't get so focused on the finish line that you miss the beauty of the grind. Because if you honor the process long enough, the product will come. But even if it doesn't look like what you imagined, you'll still win because of who you became along the way. Fall in love with the process, and the process will take you further than any outcome ever could. Life has a way of changing without warning. You wake up one morning and everything you planned, everything you worked for, looks completely different. In that moment, it's not talent, it's not motivation, and it's not confidence that keeps you standing, it's purpose. When everything around you shifts, purpose is the only thing strong enough to keep you grounded. Not because it makes the pain disappear, but because it gives that pain meaning. It reminds you that even when your dream gets knocked down, your reason for fighting doesn't have to. I remember the moment everything in my life changed. One play, one hit, and everything I thought my future would be was gone. But the strange thing is, purpose wasn't gone. The dream changed, but the assignment didn't. And that's when I learned, if your purpose is rooted in something deeper than accomplishments or positions, it can survive any storm. If the only thing pushing you is the promise of success, then failure will destroy you. But if what drives you is purpose, faith, family, legacy, impact, then not even heartbreak can stop you. See, a lot of people want life to go their way before they commit to giving their best. But life doesn't ask for your permission before it interrupts your plans. It will hit you with things you never saw coming. It will strip away what you thought made you valuable. And if your identity is tied to the product instead of the purpose, you'll feel like you've got nothing left. But purpose whispers you're still here, you still matter, you still have work to do. Purpose doesn't make the road easier, it makes the journey worth it. There were nights when I laid in bed, frustrated, angry, asking why. Why this? Why now? Why me? But every time I asked those questions, purpose would answer, not always with explanations, but with reminders. Reminders of who I was doing it for. Reminders of the kids watching, the people praying, the family believing that something good could still come from this pain. Purpose shifts the question from why is this happening to me, to how can this be used through me. Everybody loves the idea of being strong. But strength isn't built in comfort. Strength is built when life gives you every reason to break, and you choose to bend instead. When you show back up even though your situation hasn't changed. When you keep walking even though the road is longer than you expected. When you find a way to thank God not just for what He gave, but for what He took. Because what He took forced you to grow. That's purpose, and that's powerful. Sometimes people think purpose means everything will make sense. But purpose doesn't erase confusion. It gives you the courage to walk through it. It doesn't always fix the situation, but it changes how you respond to it. You stop living by how you feel and start living by what you believe. And when life knocks you down, purpose is the hand that helps you back up, not because you have to prove something to the world, but because you refuse to let adversity write the ending to your story. You might not be able to control what happens, but you can control how you carry it. You can control whether pain makes you bitter or better, whether loss makes you quit or makes you deeper, and if you hold on to purpose, really hold on, nothing can break you permanently. Because when life hits hard, purpose holds you steady. Most people wake up every day chasing success, money, status, recognition. But after everything I've seen, everything I've lost and gained, I can tell you this: if the only person you're trying to serve is yourself, you will always feel empty. Purpose becomes powerful when it stops being about you and starts being about the lives connected to you. When I realized that my life wasn't just mine to live, but mine to give, that's when everything changed. The goal stopped being success, and it became significance. I stopped chasing being the best in the world and started chasing being the best for the world around me. I've met people with wealth, fame, influence, and still no peace. Because fulfillment doesn't come from what you get, it comes from what you give. It's easy to live for applause, but applause fades. It's easy to chase position, but positions change. What lasts is impact. What lasts is when your story becomes someone else's survival guide. When your scars give someone else strength to keep fighting. When your life becomes a lighthouse showing someone else the way through their storm. I didn't set out to inspire anybody. I just wanted to make my family proud, to give my children a life better than the one I came from. But life has a way of showing you that your story isn't just about you. Somebody needs your resilience. Somebody needs your faithfulness. Somebody is waiting to see what it looks like when a person refuses to quit. Not for fame, not for a trophy, but because they know this life is bigger than them. And the moment you understand that your purpose is tied to people, you show up differently, you work differently, you endure differently. Serving something bigger than yourself doesn't always mean being on a stage or holding a microphone. Sometimes it's checking on a friend who's hurting, even when you're hurting too. It's forgiving someone when you have every right to stay bitter. It's being kind in a world that profits from cruelty. It's choosing to be the example instead of the excuse. Purpose isn't loud. It doesn't need a spotlight. It shows up in consistency, compassion, and character. There were moments when I wanted to feel sorry for myself, moments when the pain felt too heavy to carry. But then I'd think about the people watching, young kids who grew up in broken homes like I did, people battling silent frustrations, people who needed proof that broken wings can still fly, so I kept going. Not because it was easy, but because purpose demanded it, because impact required it, and the beautiful thing is when you give your life away, you don't lose it, you multiply it. What you pour into others doesn't leave you empty, it fills you with a different kind of strength. The world will try to convince you that greatness is about what you build for yourself, but true greatness is about what you build in others. Legacy is not about your name being remembered. It's about your life making a difference long after you're gone. It's about planting seeds in soil you may never see bloom. It's about believing that your small acts of love, faith, and endurance can ripple through generations. So if you're tired, if you're overwhelmed, if you feel unseen, don't quit. Somebody needs the version of you that refuses to stop. Somebody needs the hope that your life brings, because purpose isn't about how high you climb, it's about how many people you bring with you. Serve something bigger than yourself. That's where real power lies. There will come a moment when quitting feels easier than continuing, when the dream you once woke up excited for now feels heavy, blurry, almost out of reach. That's the moment most people disappear, not because they weren't capable, but because they forgot why they started. They forgot the promise they made to themselves, the vow they whispered in the dark. They forgot the faces of the people who believed in them before anyone else did. But when you remember your why, when you anchor yourself to that original purpose, you find strength that doesn't make sense. You find courage you didn't even know was inside you. I've learned that commitment isn't tested when everything is going your way. It's tested when the applause stops, when the results don't match the effort, when the vision doesn't look like the reality. That's when your why shows up. Your why is what wakes you up when the alarm clock isn't enough. Your why is what makes you wipe your tears, square your shoulders, and walk back into the fight. Your why is the difference between a person who gives up and a person who gives their all. I didn't keep going because everything was perfect. I kept going because I remembered who I was doing it for. I remembered sitting in my grandmother's living room dreaming of a better life. I remembered the sacrifices my family made so I could have a chance. I remembered being that kid who said, "No matter what happens, I won't quit." And even when life tried to take everything from me, my dream, my future, my control, it couldn't take my why. And as long as I held onto that, I still had a reason to fight. You have to understand your why is not just motivation. Motivation fades, emotion changes, but purpose is stable. It's the foundation beneath your feet when the ground starts shaking. When you know why you started, you don't fold when things get hard, you focus. You don't run from pressure, you rise under it, because the goal is no longer just winning. It's staying true to who you said you would be. Some days nobody will clap for you. Nobody will text you and say they're proud. You will have to look in the mirror and remind yourself who you are and why you're here, and that's okay. Growth is quiet. Breakthrough is lonely, but the people who make it to the other side aren't always the most talented. They're the ones who refuse to forget their why. And please hear me, you're not just fighting for yourself. There are people tied to your obedience, people you haven't even met yet who will be inspired because you continued when quitting felt easier. Somebody needs your story, somebody needs your survival, and they don't need the perfect version of you. They need the real one, the one that struggled, cried, doubted, but kept showing up anyway. So when you feel like giving up, go back to the beginning. Go back to the reason you started. Go back to the prayer you prayed, the promise you made, the fire that was in your heart before the world tried to extinguish it. Remind yourself that what you're carrying is bigger than the pain you're facing. Because at the end of the day, it's simple. Dreams don't die because of failure. Dreams die when people forget why they started. Never forget your why.